Okay, I'm only gonna do this once because there's 8 of them and it's very repetitive. So at least if I can show you just the one, you'll understand. Pretty straightforward. We've already marked everything on the fence and the blade. It might just be an adjustment when I do my first drop. We'll see how it looks. Yeah, you just go. I got a reference line at the top, reference line at the bottom. So as we pass the side through the blade, we stop at the line, maybe just before, just in case you got jittery hands or you've had too much caffeine. And at the top, where we do our drop and get it as close as possible, same thing, and just push it through, flip it to the other side, and then do all 8 pieces, 16 cuts. And then after that, we zip over to the chop saw and show you how to do that. Doing the shortcut on the chop saw and then finishing the jigsaw. So show you one and then move on. If you're not comfortable lifting this as the blade's on, just stop the saw, lift it up, and then, pull it back. If you're not comfortable putting your hand underneath here, pull it all the way across, flip it around, and then, do the exact same thing. I've been doing this for 12 years, so I'm a little more comfortable than I should be with a saw. So I don't stop it, I just keep going. That's that. So that's how you would do the interior portion. Stop at the line. You can see that there. There's your line. Stop a little bit before. I'll just finish that with a jigsaw. It'll be straight. No one will ever know. That's the gist of it. This is why you cut your miters first, because if you would have cut this out right now, or before, if you would have cut this out before, these are still flat, you're gonna go and push this. You're gonna have your pressure here against the fence. But if you were to do that, see how it's flexing? Same thing over here. Flexing a little bit as you push in and out. That would mess up your miter, and your miter is the most important because the interior portion, you can kind of manipulate a little bit, even if you did, not cut it 100% straight or true the whole way, which this weighs about 7 feet. You can kind of get away with it if you had to. Get a boo-boo, but for the most part, you just do it the way I said, because that's how you do it. So now 7 more pieces, and then the next step. It's funny because after I start recording, first thing I do is rip right past the pencil line. Everything else, you gotta stop at the pencil line. You could put up stop blocks if you had a more permanent solution, more permanent outfeed table. Your table saw is more stationary, and you can put stop blocks so it's a little more accurate. So just takes away that human error. It's a good thing we have scrap. Okay, now that everything's been ripped down on the sides, we are going to do our perpendicular cut, or the rail part, however you want to look at it. You can do this one of 2 ways. You can just start going, right? You can just go cut. You want to cut before the line because everything in this scenario to the right is what we need, so we want to be on the left. So you could do that. The only thing about doing it that way is you need to be in control of the saw at all times, because if you go and put too much pressure by accident, you are going to overcut and you're going to call yourself a lot of bad names, and you're just going to regret not doing the stop block. So what I would do, what I normally do, is come over here, set the stop block, and then you find your point where you can either do the depth, but, well, I guess you would do this cut first so that you can see that you are actually going through. So what you can do is you're going to come over here, you're going to set your blade to a point where it's going past the material. Okay, so after you've made this cut here, what you can do is you're going to drop your stop block here on the side. You're going to set your depth. So I have it pretty close. And look, I can see currently the blade does make it past the thickness of this material. So we know we're in the right spot because when we did this cut, I can see through it. So I know that with the depth set to where it is, tighten the wing nut, that when I make that cut here, I should go to the same depth every time, knowing that what you do is you kind of find your middle point, which you could just measure where you can feel it out. You're gonna lock your slide so that all you have to do is bring the piece over every time. You don't have to do anything other than line it up and make your cut. You just have to be careful on that end where it's holding your wings. Sometimes you can set up mitre wings, or you can just use what the stand has. If you're using what the stand has, that side, you have all your cuts over there, so everything's kind of flimsy. You just gotta be careful, that's all. So ideally, if everything is set up correctly, all you have to do is make your cut, because your slide is locked, so you're not gonna go this way by accident. And your depth is cut, so you're not gonna go down too far and overcut each side. On the first cut, probably gonna make an adjustment because it's not gonna be 100%. You'd rather have it at 90 and then adjust rather than have it at 99, but it's off, and then you have to patch and fill. So here we go. So as you can see, that's exactly where it gets me, just before the cut on this portion and just before the cut on that portion. So I could loosen it off a little bit and go a little bit more, and I'm talking a little bit, or I can leave it and just finish that off with a jigsaw. I'm kind of leaning towards leaving it. I'm gonna leave it. So just to show you on the next piece, you shouldn't have to touch the saw at all. All you should have to do, bring your piece over, line it up, and that's it. Like I've said before, I've been doing this a long time, so I kind of know how I can micro adjust with my hands. I keep my hand, my index finger against the, I'm gonna call the base of the saw. So that's kind of my anchor point. And then I use my thumb to just slide the piece back and forth. So this portion of my hand is resting down here, creating the anchor, and my thumb is moving it in and out. And I do that all the time, every time. I also pull the saw guard up every time. I don't know if that's just habit, and I can see the blade. Yeah, it's definitely habit. That's just the way I used to do it. Maybe not ideal because you expose the blade immediately, more risk involved, but I don't know what to tell you. Don't do it. Or go be a trim carpenter for 10 plus years and cut hundreds of thousands of linear feet of baseboard, and you'll understand where I'm coming from. So this will be the last one. And I'll kind of just show you what it looks like over there. I'll show you how flimsy it is down there. See, so the stop block stops the blade from going any further down, which if it does go further down, creates an overcut over there. And you can see what I mean by flimsiness over here, right? This is why people use miter saw wings, because I really only have support on this piece and maybe a little bit of the interior piece that's going to be cut out, but the back half here, back third, is flimsy. Not ideal, but it is what it is. And then that's what the piece will look like. All the sides ripped off, bottom cut, top cut, and then we'll just finish the corner off with a jigsaw all 4 times on all 8 pieces, 32 times. Okay, you made it this far. It's pretty straightforward. Have all of our cuts, table saw, chop saw. Now we use the jigsaw, saw. There's not much to finish on the table saw side, but there is a little bit of meat on the back side from the chop saw. So when you feel resistance, you're cutting out this portion here with the jigsaw. Most of that cut's already made on the other side from when the blade makes its rounded cut. Yeah, literally you should be able to just, If you've gone far enough on your table saw cut on the back, or these long cuts, you'll be able to just jigsaw this right to there, and this piece essentially becomes, well, it's off at that point. So you can either flip the piece or go down to the other end and cut it. Chances are I'll go to the other end and cut it because it'll be supported by the workbench. So if I mean, I could flip it too, it doesn't matter. Yeah, that's all. Here we go. So yes, I said flip it. It's not ideal. I'm just doing it because the camera's right here set up. Try not to flip it, because when you go and flip it after you make that cut, this is your last cut. So this is the only portion holding this interior piece in. So once you flip it, everything's loose and you could break it and you'll just get mad at yourself. So don't flip it, go to the other end, cut it down there, and everything will be done. I will do my last cut, show you what it looks like, and then that'll be it for the recessed portion. We'll rip out the back piece when I get to that section, show you how to do that. And then your recessed panel portion will be done. You just have to put it all together. So here we go. Oh, one little tip. You don't have to, but you can't see it because it's all burnt out in there. This is a down cut blade. So all of the blades are pointed down so that when you're cutting, the cut is on the down portion instead of the up portion. You don't really need it with PVC. PVC doesn't tend to blow out as much, but it does help. All of the cuts are made on the down stroke, pushing the material down, rather than any normal jigsaw blade. It's doing the cut on the up portion, pulling the material, which in turn causes blowout. But PVC are usually okay. So you don't have to do down cut blade. I had it, so I'm gonna use it. Don't tell anybody. Last cut. That's it, it's loose. And that's how you do a recessed panel. I just gotta do that 7 more times and you're done. Okay, now that we have the interior piece cut out, right, we finished with the jigsaw in the corner. I've already gone ahead and ripped down the new interior pieces, because the interior pieces have to be, at least an inch bigger. So there's some grab on the underside to nail through. I'll show you in a second. But first step before you do any of that is to sand the interior of these squares, because you'll have the table saw blade marks from when you cut it and the chop saw blade mark to sand as well. You got to do that on all of them, or you should, before you put the piece on, so that you can sand it easily with a sander. Otherwise, you're going to have your backer piece on and you're only going to have this amount of meat to sand, which is rather frustrating. Yeah, and you got to get all those saw blade marks off. See right there? I'd rather be sanding that without a piece in the way, just make things easier. So now what I was saying was, for the interior piece, the new interior piece, so in this case, our opening is 6 1/8. We're gonna cut these around 8, which they are. Same thing lengthwise. I think this is 78 from here to there. So we cut these at 80, and that's the gist of it. So what happens is your piece goes over top, and don't forget, this isn't just for exterior columns, this is just columns in general. Anytime you want to do recessed paneling, instead of essentially cutting one big interior square and then wrapping it individually with each piece, creates all those seams. You don't want to do that, you want to do this. And that's how your panel, one side of the column, will finish. And at that point, you'll have, hopefully, all of these blade marks will sand it off. You'll have all your overcuts filled in nicely. A couple coats. There's no real other way to do it, not that I know of anyways. And you do that 8 times. 2 columns, 4 pieces each. And just to just to show you what it looks like when it's on this side. Right, so there's our overcut with the table saw, because it's always cutting in a circle, but we stopped it back there somewhere, give or take. We stopped it like back there, and then we finished with the jigsaw. So as this piece comes over and rests on top, your nailing area is, you know, give or take, you've got 1 inch overhang there, 1 inch overhang there. You can do all your nailing through there, glue it, and you'll never see any nail holes. Don't see any of the glue. You got to be careful. You don't want to put your bead of glue so close to the edge that when you squish the back piece on, the glue squeezes out to the inside. You don't really want that. And then your piece will come down to like here somewhere. You can cut it as long as you want, but in regards to yield or your sheet goods, we only just did 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, and 1 inch at the top. So it'll come down just like that. All the way around, and that's it. There's your column, right? Everything's mitered, pieces on, one side will be done. So I will do that and take a video, show you. And then once one's done, that'll be it for that. And I will jump to getting them ready to actually nail together. Okay, now that we have our pieces all cut out, what we're gonna do is we want to establish which side is going to be our good side and which side is gonna be our bad side. So this is all 3/4, this is all 1/2 inch. This doesn't have to be thicker, it's just a back piece. So just take a quick look. You're looking for scrapes and dents that you don't wanna see. So this one's got 1 dent there, 1 dent there. Everything else is okay. Back here, we've got a scratch. Okay, I'll take 1 scratch or 2 dents. So this will be our good side. This is gonna be our bad side. What we're gonna do here is, because we are working with CA glue, we're not gonna run the activator. So we're only gonna have 45 seconds to do this. So what I'm gonna do is tape measure. This is roughly 2 inches bigger than the opening. So 1 inch on this side, 1 inch on that side, and the same top and bottom, give or take. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna mark those lines out as a guideline. So when I run my bead of glue, try not to let it ooze to the inside. Sometimes it happens, wipe it off, not the end of the world. When I go to set this in place, I'll grab a couple of weights I have over there, plop it down, wait, wait, wait. I'll kind of hold it in place because this does act as like a slippery hovering point. So you'll put it on it and it'll shift. So we'll just put our glue on within our guidelines and hold it there and hope for the best. So that's how you do this for each piece. So we'll do one so you can grasp it, and then I'll knock off the other 7 and move on to the next step. So here we go. I'm just gonna grab the weights. These are just old gym equipment weights. What we're gonna wanna do is blower, microfiber, and just get all of the dust off so that there is no interference with adhesion. So we're gonna go even a little bit bigger because it is just a guideline, so you want to be able to see it. It doesn't have to be perfect. I wouldn't do this if I was doing interior millwork. MDF, glue, a lot more forgiving, a lot longer setup time, a little more forgiving. It's literally just because it's CA glue. In this particular case, Acfix 705, and you can't mess up. You don't have time to mess up, so it's gotta be perfect. Just double check that those lines work. If you notice this line's a little shorter, it's because I made a bit of a boo-boo earlier. So we had to just enlarge this a little bit. So it kind of took away from our gluing and nailing back up, if you will. Line, 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 line. Now we've done this in the past where I have used the glue and activator, and you have 2 seconds. So this time will just be the glue, and I'll probably nail it anyways, just for my own peace of mind. But this glue, this was a test piece we did yesterday or the day before, and it has literally 2 beads over a 3-inch span, and see how the piece breaks before the joint? That's how strong this stuff is. So you don't want to get it on your fingers because it sucks. Just doing one last second guessing myself, make sure we're all good. Let's give her. You want want to try and have a continuous bead, or else you're going to have that pocket with no adhesion. So you don't need a lot, but you do want it to be everywhere. Okay, that's the gist of it. Try and line this up as good as possible. One Mississippi. We're already running out of time. 2 Mississippi. 3. So as you saw, putting that down, it was already sticking here. So maybe just because the temperature's a little different than normal, kind of speeds up the curing time. So that's why you always just got to be quick regardless, and make sure everything's okay. Just gonna add a little bit more back here and hit it with the activator. You don't have to do this. This is just a insurance policy, we'll call it. When in reality, the nails are probably going to be the insurance policy. Yeah, so it's already set. I'm just wiggling it to hear any clicking or cracking, which would indicate that it's not fully cured, or I wasn't able to get the weights on fast enough to create the pressure, but I don't hear anything, so she set up quick. Yep, it's on there. So I did get a little bit off on that, which is a little unfortunate. Just throw some Goo Gone on it, just in case. Really, once it goes on the product, even if you smear it off, it's gonna leave a little bit of residue behind. Yeah, see, it already did. So that'll be fun. That's why you want to be careful. You try not to drag too much across. So that part's my own fault. It is what it is. I'll sand it, I'll scrape it, I'll fill it, and you won't even know. But that's the gist of it. Now, if you're not comfortable with the CA glue, I'm only using CA glue because of how strong it is, and in an exterior environment, so far, it's really the only thing we kind of trust. The vinyl and PVC glue, although it is recommended and strong, when you put it on, you have like a 2 to 5 minute window for it to react, and then you squish it together. When you got to find that window, you know, with this one, I know the window is like right now. So if you just lay it all out, I know we have the strength. If you're not comfortable doing it, then yeah, you could use an exterior glue. You can use the vinyl glue that doesn't come with it, but you gotta buy it extra, and just paste it on, and then put that piece on, and then nail it. Like I don't even have to nail this right now, but I will. I'll just grab some 1-inch brad nails, just for my own peace of mind, nail it along, just so I know it's not going anywhere. That's it. Same philosophy for interior millwork as the same as this exterior column in a PVC. I'm gonna do 7 more now. Now, one thing that I'd already done, obviously we cut the pieces already for the back, but what I was mentioning before is all of the interior has been sanded already, because if you don't, and let's just say that this piece wasn't sanded, now you can't get your sander in there. You have to use something small on the edge, which is very frustrating. Do it beforehand when nothing's in the way, and just make your life easier. 7 more times, and then put them all together.